Hello, it is Jack Gill and welcome back to Anfield Agenda. This is not a drill. Liverpool have won a game of footy again. It is the Champions League, baby. And Liverpool have defeated RB Leipzig 4-0 on aggregate, 2-0 on the night, but it was a night where we looked more Liverpool, so much more fluid, so much better in terms of creativity. Fabinho back in the midfield was outstanding. Nat Phillips, I'm convinced if there was an asteroid heading for Earth, he'd head the fucker away. Just a fantastic performance, and it frustrates me as a Liverpool fan that we've not been seeing this recently. But as I've spoken about in the last few weeks, the Champions League is built for Liverpool Football Club. The Puskas Arena, can we play there every week, please? Liverpool in Hungary, we're flying in Hungary, aren't we? Another clean sheet, another 2-0 win against RB Leipzig. And it was just brilliant. It was a top-class performance from Liverpool. RB Leipzig did get through on a couple of occasions. They hit the bar, of course. Alisson made a really, really good save early on, an important save, I think, looking at it back now. But you look at the first half, we had plenty of chances to put the tie to bed. We didn't bring our scoring boots in the first half whatsoever. Thiago had a really early chance where I'd have liked to see him hit it, but obviously the creative spark Thiago has, I think he saw Salah free and thought he had a much better chance in front of goal. But yeah, numerous opportunities in the first half. I can't believe how many open goals we missed. There was that chance where Thiago played a lovely ball over the top, unorthodox with a scissor kick over the top to Mohamed Salah. Salah should really do better with the first opportunity, and then it falls to Mane, who the awkward bounce makes it hard for him with the header. But the header looks really weird as he tries to head it down to the ground and over the top of the goalkeeper. Second half, the two goals were both liquid football, beautiful. And Divock Origi comes off the bench, and I'm thinking, oh no, why are we bringing this guy on? But he just loves the Champions League knockout stages, doesn't he? And he comes on, a no-look cross into the feet of Mane, putting it on a plate for him and certainly putting the tie to bed. But we could have absolutely tanked Leipzig. We had so many opportunities. They carried on, continued to play out from the back like they did in the first leg, like they did. They caused their own problems in the first leg, and they did it at times tonight too. Some sloppy passes as they tried to play it out from the back. I thought both Divock Origi and Naby Keita did really well from the bench too. I've seen Klopp as praised Keita after the game as well, but the big boost and the big talking point, I think, is that midfield tonight and having Fabinho back in that six and how much better we looked going forwards. Look, this is one game, and I'm keen to put us all back into the situation today and make sure we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. It's one game, and what this Liverpool side need to do is build from this. We saw good performances against Sheffield United, against Leipzig in the first leg, but we didn't build upon that and get a string of good results, good performances. But we've got to use the boost of some players coming back from injury, such as Naby Keita, such as Jota, such as Fabinho, and having him back in the midfield, such as bringing Kabak and Phillips back from little knocks and having them back in the team sheet. And we have to build upon that now and get a string of results together. As well as a lot of people having their eyes now on the Champions League, we're in that pot for the last 8, and that draw on Friday is going to be a crucial one. We now need to put tonight's result into the Premier League. We've got a tough game away at the Molineux on Monday night against Wolves, who will be set up solidly, and they'll look to counter us. They'll be difficult to break down. So it's going to be a tough game for that on Monday night, for us on Monday night. And we've got to make sure that we turn this win tonight on this Wednesday night into, consecutive good performances and good results for Liverpool Football Club. But tonight is definitely a strong building block in the right direction for Liverpool Football Club. It was so much better from us. And, I said in the Anfield Agenda podcast prior to the game, I said in the team news show prior to the game that, what I wanted to see tonight was, first of all, the results and making sure that we get our name in that pot for the last 8. But second of all, a better performance. And we had both tonight. In front of goal, we were so much, we weren't better in front of goal, but our creativity, our build-up play was so much better. I thought our midfield three was outstanding tonight, boosted by Fabinho there in the sixth. Thiago looked loads better. Gini had a very good performance as well. And I just want to briefly talk about Nat Phillips too, before I get into the comments. He was my man of the match tonight. As I said before, if there was an asteroid heading to planet Earth, I'm convinced he'd head it away. I'm convinced as Ross Chanley put on Twitter, I'm convinced he'd 2-foot his nan if it meant to get a clean sheet. I think he has looked very, very good recently in a Liverpool shirt, and he's undroppable right now. He's proven himself as with the options we've got at the moment. He's certainly a first choice centre half, and it was a gamble putting Fabinho back into his natural position of a six tonight. We don't know how Kabak and Phillips would have performed together in a game of this magnitude, but they both did really well, and we've come away from it with a clean sheet, a good performance. And we were very, very strong. And it was a classic Champions League night, a Champions League performance from Liverpool Football Club. And I want to hear from you lot in the comments. And I'm going to converse with you lot a lot. I want to hear a lot from what you lot thought about tonight's performance. I want to hear who you lot want in the last eight of the Champions League. For me, and I've just posted this on Twitter, I think Porto. I've seen a lot of people that want Porto, but I think they're a real potential banana skin. How they set up with that defensive shape. They look solid. They gave City a real game in the group stage. They looked very good against Juventus. They're compact. They look like everything Liverpool has struggled against recently. And I'd be keen to avoid them personally. For a few weeks now, I've had this inkling that we will get Manchester City. I don't know why. But I wouldn't be too against that. They ran away with it in the Premier League, and I'd like to see us knock them off their perch. And we know they don't like the European competitions. I know they'd be worried to draw us in Europe. And I feel as though, it might be a potential what would be a shock, because I think a lot of people are expecting City to go far in the Champions League this year. The side I would probably like the most, though, is Dortmund. I think they're beatable. They're dangerous, but I think they're beatable. We can see they're not doing too well in the Bundesliga this season. Obviously, they've got a new manager coming in the summer. But right now, though, I think they've got the foundations there, and they're a good side. They're not perfect, and they're beatable, and Klopp can go to his former side and do the job over them. So that is the side I'd like to see us get in the last eight. But Liverpool tonight, a much, much better performance. And as I say, I want to hear a lot of your opinions, and I'll get into those in a moment. But it was just so much better from Liverpool. And as I say, the frustrating thing was tonight, this is exactly what we've wanted for weeks, but they certainly delivered tonight. And as I say, we could have beaten Leipzig a lot more comfortably this evening if we had been a bit more clinical of goal. Hopefully, there's exactly what they needed, because I think it was a massive result. It was a massive performance, and it should give the players a huge boost. And as I say, they need to channel that into the next few fixtures. It can't be like the first leg against Leipzig, where the weekend after we went and produced a poor performance against Everton. It can't be like the game against Sheffield United, where after that we were poor against Chelsea and Fulham tonight. We now need to get a string of performances, a string of results together, and ensure that we finish in the best possible position in the Premier League, and we go as far as we can in the Champions League. I think personally the Champions League is our best route for Champions League football next season, and therefore I'm sure the players, the coaching staff will have their eye on that. But I also would like to see us finish strongly in the Premier League. For me, it mirrors the 2004-2005 season, where we weren't quite at it in the Champions League. Baby Jack, can't remember too much about it, but sorry, we weren't quite at it in the Premier League. We finished fifth that year, I believe. But everything just went right for us in Europe, and we know, just being a Liverpool fan, Champions League nights are really, really special. And tonight we turned it on for the Champions League, and we looked so much better. The first half was frustrating, but as I say, both goals were liquid football and were very Liverpool goals, and they were nice too. And it was good to see, as I say, Divock Origi coming off the bench. He loves the Champions League knockout stages, doesn't he? He absolutely loves them. And you could see him talking to Klopp. He was ready. He was rubbing his hands together, and he produces that lovely assist for Sadio Mane, where it was on a plate. And the first goal I thought was delightful too. The build-up play, sensational. A few one-touch, two-touch football, and then a beautiful, placed, finished by Mohamed Salah. But without further ado, let me get into the comments. Let's see what you lot thought of this evening. Damo says, we'll never forget that season and that final in 2005. Well, little 5-6-year-old Jack at that moment in time. I remember my dad letting me stay up, especially for that final. What a night it was. I remember the Luis Garcia goal or ghost goal in the semi-final too, and of course Olympiacos. But they're glimpses of memories. I was so young at the time. I remember us doing not so well in the league that year, but it's one of them where I can see us going far in the Champions League this year, purely because it is our competition. It's a competition that suits Jurgen Klopp. It's a competition that suits Liverpool. And fingers crossed, we put our focus on that and go as far as we possibly can. The issue is with the Champions League, you have to hope and pray for a favourable draw too. And the issue is when you get to the last 8, there is no real nice tie. But I do think Porto is a potential banana skin, and that's why I would be worried to get them. I do think Dortmund is the best possible draw for us right now. But as I say, I have that feeling. And I have done for a couple of weeks now, probably, since before we played Leipzig in the first leg, that if we got through, we'd get City in the last 8. But as I say, I don't think City would like that draw themselves either. So, yeah, that's my opinion on that. Addison says, I'd take Real Madrid, get some revenge on them. Certainly not the strongest Real Madrid side we've seen over the years. And, it would be nice to get revenge for Kiev. But as I say, there's no easy draw in the last 8. Jonathan Davis pointing out that Barca and Dortmund comebacks were great moments as well for us, as well as that Champions League final in 2005. Yes, we just have so many fantastic European nights as Liverpool fans. And tonight was one where the players turned it on. We've not been great recently, but tonight we were loads better. We were boosted by Fabinho in midfield. I think he gave us that extra protection. And also, as you saw, we were so much better going forwards. But as I say, I want us to try and not get ahead of ourselves this evening. That's one game, that's one performance, that's one result. We need to see more. We need to see it on a regular basis now from Liverpool. Let's put the last few weeks behind us. Let's build from this, and let's get a string of results in now. That is the aim, both in the Premier League and in the last 8 of the Champions League. That's crucial for us now. We've been boosted by the return of Fabinho to midfield. Jota has come back from injury. Naby Keita as well, who we have back. Kabak, of course, had a little knock, but he was back tonight. We should have Firmino back in the next couple of weeks, I hope. So we're starting to get players returning. And hopefully we have no more injury problems in the next few weeks. And as I say, we can get that string of results together. Cube says, I hope Bayern get City. Yeah, that would be massive for us. It would be one real rival for the Champions League knocked out, wouldn't it? I think Bayern and City are the 2 bookies' favourites. Excuse me. So, I think if they get each other in the last 8, it'll be incredibly nice for us. Sunny Lally says, Jack, where does Bobby fit in when he's fit? This is a question that, gets asked quite a lot. And it confuses me because people want us to build a stronger squad, but then people question how players get in. It's up to Bobby to impress in training, to impress when he's on the pitch. And, if he doesn't impress, if he's not clinical in front of goal, we know that we've got Jota. We've got Jota, Mane and Salah that works, that is fluid, where all 3 players can play. They're diverse. They're versatile. They can play across the front 3, bar Salah on the left, really. So it's one of them where Bobby's going to have to work for that position, just like all of the other 3 are. And it's going to be good for squad rotation if all 4 can stay fit now, where we can constantly rotate in and out and keep players fresh for Champions League games, if that is our full focus now. Yeah. I don't think we should question how does Bobby fit in, what happens next. I think we should see it as a good thing. We've moaned about injuries so much this season, and now we have options in midfield and in attack. So I think we can only see this as a good thing. Decoy simply says City will never win the Champions League. I think they're in the best possible position they've ever been to do it this season. If they don't, maybe you're right. Keita looked really good when he came on, says BB. Completely agree. Divock did as well. As I say, he loves the Champions League. Barry LFC says that break for Bobby might do him good. Completely agree, mate. Let's have a look. Any more comments here? Addison saying Fabinho and Thiago were incredible. Genie was too. Thought the whole midfield was fantastic for Liverpool tonight. I really do. Michael Manning saying that's what you get when Fab is back in midfield. A good performance. Yeah. Some of us have been worried the last few weeks when we've seen Fabinho and Henderson at the back, or one or the other. Having neither of them in midfield hurts Liverpool. It does. And we've seen the boost we get from having Fabinho in midfield tonight. And I think having Henderson back and having him in the midfield too, when he gets back from injury, I think will be another big boost. And fingers crossed, Henderson can get back fit for at least one of the two legs of the last 8. I think that would be another incredible boost for us too. And who knows what's happening in terms of the fitness of Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez. Let's have a look. Any other ones? Let's have a look in the comment now. Yuvraj quite rightly saying the whole team was solid. Yeah, I think defensively we were quite sound tonight. There was a couple of warning signs, as I say. Addison made a save early on, but they didn't really threaten us. I thought Nat Phillips was outstanding, as I said. I thought Kabak had an all right game. I thought Robertson and Trent were defensively sound. Fabinho just there protecting the back four. We just looked class this evening. As I said, I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But tonight was a positive sign for me. And for me now, I'm going to go into the Wolves game hopeful that Liverpool can produce a performance, hopeful that I'll see Fabinho in midfield again, and hopeful that Liverpool can pick up a result at the Molineux, and let's see what happens. Jake Men's agreeing with me, saying that Genie was brilliant, so consistent. Sakina agreeing that man of the match was, for me, it's Phillips, but Fabinho is definitely a shout as well. Sambu says Fabinho in midfield will always be a better game. Jamie Rawlings says brilliant result where we show our strength. Luke says, what's this? I think he's saying that Genie Wijnaldum is the most underrated player ever. I wouldn't say the most underrated player ever, but he's definitely one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, and I will be gutted to see the back of him. As I say, I don't think he's been too great the last few weeks, but who in this Liverpool side has, definitely in terms of consistency. And you can see how important he is to this Liverpool squad if you look at the minutes he has played in the Jurgen Klopp, a pivotal part of this Champions League and Premier League winning, this Club World Cup winning Liverpool squad. Addison said, reminding me not to predict a heavy win against Wolves. No, Wolves are going to be a difficult task. And, you'll see in my Premier League predictions over on Mundo Sporto that will be released either Thursday night or Friday morning, I'm predicting a very close game. Wolves will set up to frustrate us. They'll set up defensively strong. We saw Man City found it difficult against them. They're good on the counter-attack, Wolves, as well, with Pedro Neto and Adama Traore. So no, I certainly won't be predicting that. I've learnt my lesson. Don't you worry. Yuvraj saying, I say consistency is key now. And yeah, I said to Connor before this, he asked what the title wanted to be, and I wanted to focus on how special European nights are as a Liverpool supporter, and how we just love the Champions League, and how that is our focus now. We need to make sure that we have European football for next season, whether that be pushing so hard in the top 4 race and seeing if we can get in there, though it looks unlikely now, seeing if we can push, if we can get a string of results together, if we can get a run of good form together in the Premier League, and then, or if we focus on the Champions League now, where we've seen so many great nights for us in the Champions League, and we saw another good Champions League night where we turned it on when it mattered most tonight and produced a fantastic performance. There was some nervy moments in front of goal, and I was nervous until we scored this evening, because the way we were missing chances, it just seemed like tonight might not be our night. But I do feel like consistency is so key for this Liverpool side now, and hopefully we can get a string of results together and we can become the Liverpool side that we all know and love. Decoy pointing out that Traore hasn't scored yet this season. No, he hasn't, but he is still dangerous, especially on the counter-attack, and he can cause problems, as can Pedro Neto. So, Wolves won't be a breeze by any means. They won't. Ben Cupboard saying that Nat Phillips was boss. I completely agree. As I say, he'd head a brick wall. He definitely wears a magic hat. And to be honest, I think if you throw a brick at him, he'd head the fucker back. He's an outstanding. He had another outstanding game today, Nat Phillips. And for a fourth choice centre back, you can certainly do worse. And as I say, and I keep saying, have you ever seen a poor performance from Nat Phillips in a Liverpool shirt for the first team? I don't think I have. There's questions about his pace. He does seem quite slow, but his aerial ability, he's outstanding in the air, isn't he? Yuvraj says, leave the Premier League, aim for the Champions League. What do I believe? I don't think you should just leave the Premier League because, as I say, the Champions League, it completely depends on the draw as well. But I do think we should push for both. We should try as much as we can in the Premier League and push for top four, even though it seems unlikely now. And we should be throwing everything we can at the Champions League, as that could be our only hope. As much as top four relies on our performances, it also relies on, our results and making sure that we don't drop many more points between now and the rest of the season, and hoping that our top four rivals slip up as well. And don't forget, we have a few difficult fixtures between now and the end of the season. We've still got United to play. We've still got Arsenal to play. So it's not going to be easy at all to get top four. And, I'd say it is extremely unlikely. And I do think winning the Champions League is our best chance at European football, Champions League football next season. But yeah, I don't think you should just completely bin off the Premier League. I think we should try and finish as strongly as we can there too. Luke Cassie saying thoughts on Jota's performance. I think he looked good in everything apart from the final ball and the finishing department. We looked incredibly bright, as Jota has done throughout his Liverpool career since joining us in the summer. But in front of goal, he wasn't great tonight, was he? But I expect rustiness from Jota in front of goal or in any element at the moment. As remember, he's been out for a decent spell, and he started both games since coming back. So I do expect an element of rustiness, and don't think we should read into his finishing or lack of finishing tonight too much. Let's have a look at the rest of the comments. Nat Phillips was my man of the match, as BB. Zane says, Nat's the type of lad to slide on concrete for jokes. Yeah, when you're at school and you just have that twat of a mate who's, when you're playing with a sponge ball on the concrete, on the playground or something, and you just have someone who, when it's raining and there's puddles everywhere, someone's just sliding and putting their body on the line and just throwing everything at it. The absolute nutter of the school. That's what Nat Phillips is. He'd put his body in the way of absolutely anything. I'm absolutely certain he'd throw himself in front of a truck if it meant for keeping a clean sheet. The man is mental and he's insane in the air. So it was another good performance from him tonight, and he's definitely earned himself a start against Wolves again, in my opinion. And he continues putting in consistently good performances in a Liverpool shirt, and his performance tonight was crucial for us. It really, really was. Yuvraj saying Jota was sick. What would you do with Firmino? Now, as I say, people moan about not having enough players to rotate, and then when we have the players to rotate, people say, what do you do with them now? It confuses me. Fabinho in midfield was immense, says Ben Cupboard. Number 7 is coming home, baby. Look, ground ourselves. Let's not get ahead of anything. Let's slowly plod along. Let's hope and pray. We love European nights here at Liverpool Football Club. The Champions League suits Jurgen Klopp. It suits Liverpool. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're in the last 8. There's still some difficult games that are to be played in the Champions League, and it won't be a plain sail between now and Istanbul. So yeah, let's just ground ourselves. Let's see who we get in the last 8. Let's make sure we're in the semi-final. Let's plod along. Let's take each game in the Champions League as it comes, and then let's talk about number 7. What's happening here? People talking about Nat Phillips going to the Euros. People talking about when Van Dijk will go back. We have no idea at this point. A comment here, which I completely agree with, saying we need the fans back at the Champions League. Yeah, it would be a huge boost, wouldn't it? And I think I'd be more confident about us winning the Champions League if we were able to have fans in the stadium. Remember as well, it wasn't at Anfield tonight, and I think that for once has actually suited us. And I wish we could play at the Puskas Arena every single week. Zayn Mohammed asking who do we want in the quarters. I answered that earlier. A lot of people saying I hope the Klopp out brigades shut up now, and I couldn't agree more on that one. Klopp is the man to take us forwards 100%, and I'll say that week in, week out. I love Jurgen Klopp, and he is the perfect man for the job at Liverpool. And that is where I am going to leave it. I'm just going to put this on the screen from Ben Cupboard just because I agree. Over the moon with that performance. So much better from Liverpool. But let's ground ourselves. We've seen performances where we've looked good in recent weeks. Sheffield United, that first leg against Leipzig, but we've not been able to get a string of performances together. And that is what Liverpool need to find now. Consistency, but consistency in being brilliant. Consistency in being the Liverpool that we know and that we love and that we've seen in the past few years in the Jurgen Klopp, rather than the one we've seen in the last 6 games at Anfield. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope you've enjoyed Up the Reds, and we'll see you very soon. Ta-ra.